Welcome back to Mastering Menopause. We are going to start off with some wins from some of my clients. I have 7 clients that are doing the 2-week rapid fat loss protocol. And so far, Katie is down 5 pounds. Paula is down 5.6 pounds. Pam is down 4.2 pounds. And Tracy is down 5.1 pounds. This is in the first week. They started on September 8th. It was that Monday after Labor Day. I thought for a second I might join in with them. I was just feeling a little fluffy and then realized I don't really need to do this. I was more like, it's time, I need to just get my shit together and just kind of start tracking to see what's going on. But they were like, we definitely want to lose 5 to 7 pounds in the next 2 weeks. So I offer this as a group within my coaching program. We always put in advance when the next one will be. And so a lot of them decided to hop in on that one right after Labor Day, starting September 8th. And then we meet as a group. So typically we'll do like a Monday and Friday meeting. And so Friday's meeting, everybody was going strong into the weekend. They were excited. And then Monday, so that's when I got those wins from them. So this is incredible progress in the first week. And so they still have until this Sunday coming up to finish that off. Now, they are getting ascending calories, so their calories are going up. Some of them have elected not to go up in their calories because their hunger is low and they're managing it well, so they don't need to. So they're just going to stay right where they're at after making a couple of increases. So I'm so proud of them, but I do want to say that because I have a lot of women reaching out to me. They're like, hey, I want to do that 2-week thing. And I'm like, well, hey, you can't do the 2-week thing until you get your body prepped for it. And so I don't think people understand what a reverse diet is. I don't think people understand that you have to get your body prepared for something like this. And so if you come to me and you're eating 1,200 calories, then using this 2-week rapid fat loss approach is not going to do you it's not going to do you any favors, and you're not going to have the same results as my clients are having. So this is why we need to prepare the body first. And if you are truly eating 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 calories, when you should be eating 2,100 calories, there's a reason why you're not losing weight right now. There's a reason why you're stuck, and that's when you need to do a reverse diet. Now, I haven't talked about a reverse diet in a while, I don't think. So let me just talk you through my approach, because my approach is a lot different from a lot of other coaches' approaches. Okay, so I have, in my years of coaching, have realized like what you can do with women in their 50s and what you should not to be doing with women in their 50s. And so I used to take a very slow approach to a reverse diet. Like, we're going to increase calories slowly and get you up to your maintenance calories. I have since kind of changed my mind a little bit on that. I mean, I still will take the client into consideration. All right. There are some women out there that are just freaking terrified to eat more food. And I hate that, right? I hate that for them, that they are now pigeonholed into all of these rules where they can't have pasta, they can't have an English muffin. Oh God, no, I would never eat that. Or I don't do this, I only eat clean, I only eat that. I used to do the same thing. But when I started tracking macros, I realized like, hey, I have a lot of these calories. I'm going to have to fill in my calories with something, right? It's not just going to be kale and quinoa. I always joke about that. But so yes, protein, of course, but then there's still plenty of extra calories left over. So I got out of that very happily. I got out of that mindset, that scarcity mindset that I was in. I freaking embraced that, like full board. And when like, yes, I want to bring in all of these foods. I like to eat, right? Who doesn't like food? But anyways, I digress. So my approach to a reverse diet will be, let's see how much we can eat, because I know the fear of doing a reverse diet is that you're going to gain weight. Guys, listen to any of the client testimonials that I have done on this podcast. It all starts out the same. Oh my God, if I eat all these calories, I'm going to get as big as a house. And then it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't gain weight after eating all these calories. And they lose inches. Now, the goal of a reverse diet is to bring you up to your maintenance calories. Maintenance calories means you're not going to gain or lose. And I get it. I get it, ladies. You're here at 1,400 calories and you're not able to lose weight. So why would eating more calories help you lose weight? Right? So I understand that. And all I can say is trust the process and just let us coach you through this process, because I will tell you, it is a huge fat mind fuck to do something like this. You're stuck. You think, I am only eating this many calories. If I eat this many calories, I'm just going to gain. Say you are, for math's sake, say, okay, you're at 1,500 calories. Your maintenance is 2,000 calories. So we want to bring you up to maintenance calories. Now, that means you're going to be eating 500 calories a day more, right? And we know that it takes 3,500 calories to gain a pound. So you're like, holy shit, I'm going to gain a pound in a week. You know what actually happens? And I have all the data, I have all the graphs. You know what actually happens when you start eating more calories? And this is why I recommend that you start eating more calories right away, is you're going to have that initial weight gain within the first 2 to 3 days. You have to. We're saying, hey, eat more calories. And you're probably not going to be able to eat that up to 2,000 calories, right? You're going to like kind of step toe it, maybe get to 1,750, then you're going to tell me how full you are, right? So that's kind of like the experience of the way that it goes. But here's the thing. Your body's used to eating 1,500 calories. Now we have more stomach contents. We're pulling in more carbs because that's usually where it's going to be coming from. And we're increasing protein. Typically, because we see protein levels are really low, we see carbs are really low. Fats are usually like kind of okay. And so now that you're bringing in more carbs, the body is absorbing the water from the carbs into your muscles in the form of glycogen. And so that weighs on the scale. That's going to cause the number on the scale to increase because you are now retaining that water. And let's not forget, we have stuff in our digestion. We have stuff in our gut that hasn't been processed. All right. So the scale has to go up by 2 pounds. Now, I highly, highly encourage my ladies to drink plenty of water through this process. And guess what? It just levels out. So there is no freaking way that you are gaining 2 pounds in 2 days from fat. So that 3,500 calories, that is if you eat in excess of your maintenance calories by like 500 a day, 3,500 calories, then you will gain 1 pound of fat. It works the other way as well. So to lose fat, you need to eat 500 calories less than your maintenance to lose fat. Now, so what's going on with these ladies that they're at the 500 calories below their maintenance? It's because they've stayed there since 2001, right? This was definitely my MO. So this was, I don't know, when I started like tracking, like I wanted to lose weight after my second child was born. Actually, well, before that, but like now we got to get serious, right? And this was in 2000. And so I'm pretty sure I did some kind of calculator. All right, how do I lose weight? A pound a week or whatever. And it just came to like 1450. And I've done various different calculators. It's been anywhere from 1425 to 1450. And so that was my number. And I literally got married to that number. And that was like, okay, that's the calories that I can have. I never understood where that number came from. I didn't get it. I didn't realize that we were calculating like what I can maintain my weight on, because who wants to maintain their weight? Nobody, right? So we don't even think about that. But it is still a thing, ladies, right? Based on your height, based on your weight, based on your gender, based on your activity, based on what your daily activity looks like, and then what your workouts look like. That's going to dictate across the board, right? We put this into the Precision Nutrition professional calculator. That's what we use, but it's the same model that everywhere, where it calculates your maintenance calories, what your body needs based on all of those things that I just mentioned. And did I mention height? Because height is a big one, right? If you're very short, then you get less calories. If you're very tall, you get more calories. Lately, I don't know, I've been talking to a lot of people that are 5'7" and 5'9", and I calculate their calories. I'm like, damn, like, you're so lucky. Look at all the calories you get. And they're like, oh my God, that's so many calories. And I'm like, I would kill to be able to get away with 2,300 calories, with 2,400 calories, right? So my maintenance is like just under 2,000 calories based on my activity level. I am not the most active person, and I go to the gym 4 days a week. So, I mean, most of my job is sitting here, taking calls and making content and stuff like that. And I'm 5'4", I'm like 5'3.5", with, 5'4" with my shoes on. And so that, and also my weight, fluctuates anywhere from like 128 to 130. So I only get so many calories, so the taller that you are, the more calories that you get. So now, that's your maintenance calories. And then what will it take to lose a pound a week is a 500 calorie deficit. So let's get back to the woman who is eating 1,500 calories and has been since the year 2000, right? And we'll call her Kathy. And what happens is when you eat like that for so long, then your metabolism just slows down, right? Then we start to see like, and this is where everybody blames menopause, right? Everybody's blaming menopause. All of a sudden, I gained all this weight. No, it was a slow roll as you're going through your late 40s and early 50s, where now your body just adjusted to the metabolism, to the amount of calories that you are giving it. Now, maybe you're working out a little less, maybe you're a little less active now that you're not running around after the kids and doing all the stuff, right, that you used to do. That is a factor. And then hormonal changes, I will say, like when you're having, hot flashes, night sweats, trouble sleeping, yes, that is going to affect how you can lose, because now we don't have the motivation to work out, right? So that is a factor, but it is lifestyle. It is the fact that your body is used to running on 1,400 calories. And so in the adaptation to that, of it not getting the calories that it needs, don't forget, if we're at 2,000 calories, but we're only eating 1,500 calories, right? Your body wants that 2,000 calories, right? That's the status quo. But you're only giving it 1,500 calories. What's missing in that 500 calories? Fiber and nutrients, right? That would be the main ingredients. And then also what I hear all the time is, it's really hard for me to get my protein in without going over my carbs and fats. I already know, right? It's because you're trying to stick to a low calorie diet, right? Never mind the options that you're choosing, but I already did that podcast. I'm just trying to help you guys understand what happens is it's metabolic adaptation. That's what happens, is your body just adapts to those lower calories. It has to. And so what happens is things like your digestion slows down. All of the processes in your body slow down because it doesn't have the optimal calories that it needs to have those things up and running. Your body is not going to prioritize weight loss. In fact, it's going to be holding on to that fat for dear life because it's its protective mechanism. It's its way of storing calories because we're in this famine, right? Your body doesn't know that you could very easily go to the fridge and get some darn food for yourself. We see a lot of things slow down metabolically. So we have less energy, we have more fatigue, we have less motivation, we don't even blink as much. We're less motivated to say, hey, you know what, I'm thirsty, I should probably get up and stop watching, this show, or quit scrolling on TikTok and get a glass of water. We don't even have the energy to do that, right? And we don't realize this. This is just like a big slowdown. And so we're burning less calories. And Things like hair, skin, and nails, it has an effect on that as well. Libido, now we lose our sex drive. And so there's such a cascading effect, a downstream effect to you staying at these dieting calories for so long. Your body has just adapted. Now, here's the fun thing, right? Here's the fun part, is when we increase your calories, guess what? Yes, you might have that initial weight gain, and not everybody does, but a lot of people do. You kind of have to, right? So here's a container, right? And I know you can't, if you're listening to this, you can't see me, but here's my 40-ounce hydro jug, right? You're used to only putting this much in here, right? But when you fill it up, it's going to weigh more, right? Until we get the spillover effect. And so this is why I highly encourage, right? Make sure that my clients are drinking plenty of water, and it's going to help flush out the water that's being pulled in from the glycogen. And then the weight just it stays the same, right? And you might fluctuate 1 to 2 pounds throughout. Some people lose weight, and there's a reason for this, but I haven't seen anybody just gaining. That is not what happens. But what does happen is they lose fat in the process. So say we take 4 weeks into I call this is just the primer phase. And this is typically a reverse diet because a lot of my ladies just aren't eating enough calories. So we're bringing the calories up. I am very much in hey, let's bring these up as fast as your body is going to let you. Let's kind of trust in the process. Let's not pull the brakes on just because, oh my God, you gained a pound, and so educating my clients on why that happens and just bringing in the calories. Now, within the first week, we start getting hunger cues back. They're like, oh my God, I'm actually hungry. I'm like, I use this as a fun process, right? To bring back all the foods that you thought you couldn't have, right? They start eating English muffins again with some peanut butter on them. They start eating raisin toast. Oh my God, how good is raisin toast with a little bit of cinnamon sugar? So good. And so it's these things that we can bring back. It is a very much a health phase, but we're not just eating fruits and vegetables, we have to fill in with grains and potatoes, and we can have some of those higher calorie foods. In fact, we're going to have to, because a lot of times my clients say they're really they're just full. And so this is a time where we're going to be like, hey, okay, we're going to have more nuts and dried fruit and things that have a lot more calories so that you can get in these calories easier, right? The small foods, things that are calorically dense, so that you can get your calories in, and then your body starts to kind of assimilate and be like, oh my God, I remember what this was like. Guess what? Energy goes through the roof. You start pooping at least once a day, right? Digestion comes back online. The libido increases. We start to see improvement in hair, skin, and nails, and outlook. And so that is bringing your metabolism back online. And guess what? When we bring your calories to the maintenance calories, you do not gain weight. You start fidgeting a little bit more. Now you have plenty of energy. Now you decide you're thirsty, you're going to get up and you're going to go get that glass of water. So that's the adaptation to those higher calories. Right? This is where everybody should rejoice in being. This is dang, I get to eat all of these calories and maintain my weight. But I know you guys are fucked up, right? Same with me. It's wait, I don't want to maintain my weight. I want to lose weight. And so it's why are we in such a hurry to get back into this depleted state that we were in? But I get it, right? I get it. You're frustrated with your weight. You're tired of seeing what you're seeing in the mirror. I totally get it. And so this is why I highly encourage you to get to your maintenance calories quicker. Let's not pussyfoot around with this 50 to 100 calories a week. Imagine you're at 1,500 calories and we want you to be at 2,000 calories, which is pretty standard, right? So now we're going to take 10 weeks to get you to maintenance? Because now, girlfriend, you got to sit here in maintenance for a little bit first, right? We got to have the advantages, the health advantages of bringing your metabolism back up. And so a lot of coaches, like they'll say, like they'll just drag it out for months. I don't want you to do that. I'm like, come on, let's go, right? And so we're going to address the mindset. This whole process has nothing to do with macros and workouts, right? It is all about mindset. So I get it. And this is my specialty, working with women in their late 40s and 50s who are going through menopause, who are having all these changes in their body. And most coaches do not understand this. Your 30-year-old little bebopping around with her tight little ass and her cute little abs and her little crop top, like she has no fucking clue what's going to happen to her body. In fact, she thinks it's not going to happen to her, right? And then you have the guy, the bro, who's just like, you're not working hard enough. You must be eating more than you say that you are, right? They don't understand. They're just like, it's easy for me. I just don't eat a granola bar and I just go for a run, right? So take it from somebody who has actually gone through the process themselves and has worked and coached many, many women through this process. It is a lot to do with your mindset, and you're in the scarcity mindset. And so when I look at this process of getting somebody ready for a fat loss approach, hell yeah, I can't wait to get you into that 2-week fat loss protocol, because it is so freaking empowering and motivating, and women are seeing like they're not broken, that they absolutely can lose weight when you apply a calorie deficit appropriately and then get out. So that's what I love about that 2-week approach. It is get in and get out, but you have to be ready for it. You absolutely have to be ready for it. So a prerequisite of going into that 2-week rapid fat loss protocol is to you have to be hitting protein targets and you have to be hitting calorie targets. And then there's some other things that we look at, like biofeedback. How is your sleep? How is your stress? How is your digestion? How is your recovery? How is your energy? We look at all of these things. This is all biofeedback. And this is what's going to tell us when you are ready for a deficit. All right, so there's a lot that goes into the art of coaching. It isn't like, some of you might be like, all right, fine, I'll just eat more and then I'll be ready. I'll just be here for 4 weeks and then I'll go into 2-week rapid fat loss. I doubt it will be that easy for you. That, I don't know if you know what to look for, but I'm also not a fan of dragging out this process either. So when the client is ready, we can see like, hey, let's do this. And we want to look at their schedule too. Like, when is a good time to do this? And so mapping that out, if we're going to do a 2-week rapid fat loss protocol, then let's see, do we have 2 weeks that are clear where we can do that? I will tell you, it's no alcohol and it's no going out to restaurants, right? If you want to be successful with this. Now, I will say that I've had clients like that ended up in a situation where they were at a restaurant and they were just fine. But for the most part, we're not planning on going out to restaurants, all right? And I will also say that most of my clients do this process twice. So they do it the first time, right? They don't know what to expect. They're really super nervous. And it's always like, you know what, I think I could have done that better, now that you know, like kind of what's involved. So I typically do this once a month. We did not do one in August. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck no. Which I knew that, like I already knew that. I even say, because I already have it mapped out. So I already have future, I call them RFLs, right? Rapid fat loss. And I already have them mapped out. So we already have this one mapped out it was September 8th, the one after Labor Day. My next one is already mapped out as well. And so we have Columbus Day, which is a Monday. And then we're going to start that following Friday for anybody that's ready. Now, the ones that have just done it, like they're not going to be they won't be doing it again. And then I have some new clients that have started, and they're like, I have some people that are getting into the process and they're going to be ready for that one. November, we're not doing it. December, we're not doing it. The clients can do it on their own if they see like, hey, you know what? I could actually do this after Thanksgiving, right before the holidays. I'm not running it as a group. So it's always available to the client as an option to do it on their own. And I have plenty of clients that are like, they'll start a week early or they'll start a week later because of their schedules. But it is way more fun as a group. All those calls, they're recorded. There's definitely like the ramp up, getting ready. You actually have to feed up before you go into a 2-week rapid fat loss. So they're not like dieting, and then they go into it, right? We're also not doing like a massive refeed either, but we're making sure that we have carbs at an appropriate level, because that's what's going to be coming down. We're going to pull those down. And so I will say that they actually enjoy it, just because it's so short. I think anybody can do anything for 2 weeks. Yeah, it's hard, but man, when you're losing like a pound a day, when you're losing half a pound a day, when the scale moves almost every single day. Now I will say, and one of my clients, she's like, well, yeah. So we got on the phone on Monday, and she's like, well, of course I'm a little pissed because I gained 0.2 over the weekend, even though I was perfect after having lost X and X. This was Paula. She had lost 5.6 pounds. So it's almost addicting, to see that scale go down every single day. And that doesn't happen. So there's definitely some plateaus. And I think when we look at a client's progress, we'll see like some clients, they'll have like a big fat drop, and then they just stay. Then they have a big fat drop again and stay. And so it's the same with this process as well. So they'll go like 3-4 days, they're like, oh my God, nothing's happening. And then they get a big drop. It's just the way that their body is. Typically, you'll see like drop, might get like a plateau here. It could be where you gain like a little bit of weight. And I know this is very much related to stress and sleep and stuff like that. But overall, after all is said and done, so Paula did this in January, and she lost like 7.5 pounds. She's like, I know I'm going to do well. I don't want to jinx myself, but she's like, I'm already like, I'm just 2 pounds away from where I was from when she finished out at 2 weeks. So it is very motivating. I like taking this approach, and I think it works very well for women in their 50s, in the late 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, because we're used to just being told that you have to lose weight slowly, or, we're put into this like 1,500 calorie diet, which is so unmotivating, right? So unmotivating. And then we get stuck there. And so like what happens is, yeah, your metabolism has down-regulated because of the low calories, but then there's only so many, you can't stick to 1,500 calories all the time. So there's going to be weekends and stuff like that. And I think that's like sorry I'm saying it so much, but that's another mind fuck, right? You're just like, you're at 1,500 calories all week, and then you have some pizza, or a couple glasses of wine, and then your weight goes up like 3 pounds. And so it's really educating our clients on like, why does that happen, so that we're not so reactive, right? We don't have to be so reactive. And then understanding why is the body so reactive, is because you're at these low calories, right? And then you bring in all these carbs, and now it's just holding on to those carbs. And so you guys think like, oh my God, I had pizza and 2 glasses of wine, and so I gained 3 pounds. I can't even look at a carb. I can't even sniff a carb without gaining weight. That's not true. That's not what's going on. It's just your body's absorbing the water, and then it takes a couple days for it to come out. But you're like, no, I gained the weight. I'm losing and gaining the same weight. And so that was my situation for sure, was being stuck in that cycle where I would be so strict during the week, and then the weekends were a free for all. And then sure enough, this is why I can't have nice things, and I would be trying to lose the weight that I gained from the weekend, and I didn't understand what was happening. And so I have to credit macros with giving me my life back, okay, that's a little dramatic, but seriously, with like showing me that I can have things like tacos, I can have wine, right? If it fits into my parameters, as long as I'm hitting my protein goals and I'm staying within a range of carbs and the fats, like, yeah, you can have those things and not have it derail you. So I totally credit, you know what? No, it did change my life, because I was very much in a deficit, like scarcity mindset, and it sucked. it sucked really bad. And now I can eat what I can eat. And you can too, right? You can eat whatever you want. The only reason why you wouldn't be able to have a food is because it doesn't make you feel good, right? I have plenty of food intolerances that I can't have, foods that I love that don't love me back. So that's the freedom that macros gives you. So tracking macros for a little bit so that you can see and get out of that scarcity rut and then hit your goals. And then, right, the ultimate goal is to get you to where you have that optimal body composition, where you're feeling good about yourself. You're proud of yourself when you put on a bathing suit or a pair of cute shorts and you like what you see in the mirror. That is the goal. And then to not have to track after that, right? So, and just using tracking loosely if you feel like, okay, wow, things are getting a little snug again. Maybe I need to pay attention to how much I'm eating. That's where I am at, is where it's like, okay, so all of August, like it was just like, kind of loose for me. Definitely more alcohol, just like a ton of trips too, like a 3-day trip to Vegas, and then like some meals, a lot more meals out. In addition to that, like those are always excess, over the top. And then, blew out Labor Day on Cape Cod, which is always so fun. It's just a booze fest, booze and food fest. And so, like, I didn't track it all, and I knew it. I was like, you know what? I don't want to. I don't care. Nah. Can't make me. Nope, don't want to. So yeah, I was up a few pounds. Like I was very tempted to hop in on this two week thing. And I'm like, God, no, I don't want to. I don't need to. I'm just feeling a little fluffy. And of course, I'm a little inflamed, got a couple extra pounds. Like as soon as I start tracking, then, I can see exactly where it is. I have no idea what I was eating, 3,000 calories. Oh, that's funny. I did run it through ChatGPT a few of those days because I'm like, how bad is it? And there was a couple days. It was like 3,500 calories. Like, guys, I like to eat. What can I say? I will say, in ChatGPT, that you judgy little bugger, let me tell you. It was like, if you didn't have this dessert and all these alcohol calories, you would have been fine. I'm like, yeah. Like, I mean, maybe that's the reality that people need. Like, I knew that already, ChatGPT. Thank you very much for your fucking insight. Thanks. So, anyways, before you ask me about a 2-week rapid fat loss protocol, you have to get yourself set up. And it is something that we run inside the 90-day Mastering Menopause program that I have, where you can lose 10, 15, 20 pounds in those 90 days. We also have another Catalyst accelerated fat loss where you can lose more. This is for the woman who is more motivated and has more weight to lose and very motivated by fast fat loss. Who isn't motivated by fast fat loss, right? But we have to do this in a way that's going to protect your muscle and make sure that we're targeting just fat. And so there's a couple different approaches. Most of my clients, they're going to take that 2-week rapid fat loss approach, right? It's easy, it's doable. The accelerated fat loss is definitely a longer approach, but you can lose more weight each week. So this wouldn't be for somebody that, well, I don't know. Like if you have, so I talked about Cheryl a couple podcasts ago. She had 12 pounds to lose. We did it. We did it in a month. So she did the summer shred, which I have decided I will never, ever offer that as a group program. I did it once and I'm like, yeah, it's not viable as a group option. So it's just too hard to line up dates, for people. So, but this is the approach that I would take for somebody that has, I would say like 15 to 20 pounds. Like if you took this approach, you could lose 15 to 20 pounds, possibly a little bit more by December 1st. Now, this is, you got to put your head down on this. This was the same approach that I used as well. So if you're interested in that, to see what that would look like, shoot me a message. Tell me how much weight that you want to lose. And then what I can do is I can send you my fat loss prediction form. And so what I'll do is I'll run it through the calculator that we use, the one that I used. So we use the Precision Nutrition professional calculator just to calculate macros, but I use Martin McDonald's calculator to calculate an aggressive approach and what does that look like. And it gives us all the dates, like how many days do you stay here? What are the refeeds? What is the initial refeed protocol to get ready for that? So it's all mapped out. It's based on body fat percentage. So not only does it take into account everything that I talked about with calculating your maintenance, but it also takes in your body fat percentage to predict how much fat can you lose per week. And it's funny because I just did 2 ladies at, oh gosh, the numbers are right over there. And it was so funny because they were both 5'9". I'm like, wow, they so lucky they get all these calories. And so I don't remember exactly, but it was anywhere. One was, I think they were both at minimum 3.5 pounds per week. And then was like, one of them was 6.5 pounds per week. And the other one was 7.2 pounds per week. This was based on all the information that they gave me, but on their body fat percentage too. And so can you imagine losing more than 7 pounds a week? Like, holy crap, talk about motivating, right? So these ladies, they had between 30 and 40 pounds that they would like to lose. And I'm like, we can take an aggressive approach here for sure. And so looking at one of their history, like she's kind of ready to go. Like she has just not really been tracking. So all we really need to do for her is just get her protein in line. We got to feed her up before we actually put her into the process. I showed her, it's what is this going to cost you? How low do you want to go? How motivated are you by fast fat loss? And then where I was kind of looking at it, I'm like, you know what I would do? If it was me and if you're comfortable with it, I would take the most aggressive approach for the first 2 weeks, see how you do, and then we can always peel it back because dang, how motivating would that be to lose 14 pounds in 2 weeks? Pretty goddamn motivating, right? Yeah. and then we can slow it down, right? Where she would only be losing 4 pounds a week, right? Or 3.5 pounds a week. But then we also have breaks in there as well. But I love that this is an option for somebody who is motivated. All right, I think you've had enough of me. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm happy to answer that for you. If you have, say, 15 pounds or more to lose, then we can talk about what that would look like with an accelerated. So with that, we're looking at is typically between 3 to 5 pounds per week. So, I mean, come on, that's so motivating. But for somebody that's just has 10 pounds, you could easily do this 2-week rapid fat loss protocol. We got to get you set up first and then get you there and then take off the rest of that weight and then show you what your maintenance looks like. And so that's what's inside of that 90-day program is where you would get all of that. All right. So we are taking clients. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about what it looks like for you. I am not a salesperson. I am not here to convince you that you need to do this, right? that you absolutely have to do this, right? You need to convince me that you're ready to do this. Okay. So, all right. I hope that you have a good week. I will talk to you soon. Bye.